So, class, remember when we talked about how the water cycle is responsible for most of the weather on our Earth? Well, today, we're going to take that a step further and begin learning how to actually read weather maps to predict what kind of weather might be right around the corner. I've always loved learning about weather. It can be so fascinating. I mean, have you ever wondered why it gets so cold up north, but so hot down here? Or why New Orleans gets hurricanes and Missouri gets tornadoes? Well, today, class, we're going to begin to uncover those mysteries. Now, when we talk about weather, we're going to learn how to read a weather map today, which consists of a lot of weather fronts. A weather front is basically contact zones between two air masses. Picture this as two armies, kind of colliding. There could be a hot air mass and a cold air mass. These fronts are like the front lines of the army, the first things that come in contact with the other type of front. A cold front, for example, is the advancing of a cold air mass over a warm one. It's like the front of that army clashing with the warm front and advancing over it. Conversely, a warm front is the advancing of a warm air mass over a cold one. Now, there is something called a stationary front. It's when they both collide and are at a standstill. Imagine a cold army and a warm army colliding and being almost equal. So neither one pushes the other one too far one way or too far the other. They both stand still. Take a moment to write these 4 vocab words and definitions in your notebook. Now, class, when looking at a weather map, like this is about to be here, it is important to always pay attention to the symbols on the map. Those symbols will tell us a lot about what we can actually expect from the weather. The first symbol we must really pay attention to is that one. That pointy one kind of looks like triangles, right? The symbol represents a cold front. Now, what is a cold front, you ask? Well, like we just talked about, kind of just like what it sounds. It's when a mass of cold air moves into an area and takes over that mass of warm air that was there before. The way in which I like to remember this is thinking about a mountain. Talked about how the farther up in the atmosphere we go, the colder the air gets. Mountains are tall, like our Bill Nye video told us yesterday. So what would the top of a mountain be? Colder or warmer than the bottom? Way colder, right? Since these symbols kind of look like the peak of a mountain, that's an easy way to remember it. So here, in Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, everywhere where that symbol is, there'd be a cold front. Now the second symbol to which we must pay attention are these half-circle looking symbols, like this one. If one symbol represents a cold front, what do we think this represents? A warm front. A warm front is simply the opposite of a cold front. This is the time in which a warm air mass takes over that cooler air mass that was there before. So here in Texas, in Louisiana, Mississippi, all of those states in which that red warm front is across means there's a warm front there. So we know what a cold front symbol looks like and what a warm front symbol looks like. But what is that weird one that kind of looks like a mixture between the two? This, class, represents an area in which a hot front collides with a cold front. Stationary front, like we talked about before, when the two armies meet head to head and neither one pushes the other one back too far. This is often when a lot of crazy weather can take place, like storms, hail, lightning, thunder, tornadoes, some crazy stuff like that. We'll talk a lot more about this tomorrow when we learn how to be weather predictors, basically weathermen, like you would see on the news. Now, class, here's a fun song from Bill Nye the Science Guy, the same guy we watched yesterday. Take a minute to listen to his weather song.
Whether the weather is hot or whether the weather is cold, there's just one thing you need to be told. Whether the weather is hot or whether the weather is cold, there's just one thing you need to be told. Climates are different all around the world. Yeah, you think every plant, animal, boy, and girl. Now out in the desert there's not too much rain, but the temperature took a very enough to make it insane. And there aren't gonna be too many storms coming by. That's cause the desert's all warm and dry. Tropical rainforests, I'll tell you later, they can get pretty hot. They're usually near the equator, and it rains really hard, on that you can bet. Tropical rainforests are warm and wet. Climates so different all around the world. They affect every plant, animal, boy, and girl. Near the north and south poles where it's really cold, there's a place called the tundra, or so I'm told. And hardly any rain or snow comes from the sky, so you see that the tundras are cold and dry. The temperate forest is a pretty cool place where a low temperature is often the case, and it rains quite a bit, so if you don't know yet, temperate forests are cold and wet. Climates are different all around the world. They affect every plant, animal, boy, and girl. Whether the weather is hot or whether the weather is cold, there's just one thing you need to be told. Whether the weather is hot or whether the weather is cold, there's just one thing you need to be told. Climates are different all around the world. They affect every plant, animal, boy, and girl.
Love that song.
Go ahead, Joseph.